Hi guys, this is Kenneth Wong from the Joyup Consulting Group, and I've decided to do a short video to remind you guys and to inform some of you here that something is happening right now. And the reason for this video is to let you guys be more aware of what's going on. My fellow consultants and myself, we have been very busy fulfilling annual consults, feng shui audits, excursions, large-scale events. And what we're trying to do is to help everybody prepare as much as they can for 2025. Now, why is 2025 so special, right? Because a lot of people ask us, how are we supposed to survive 2025? Now, there's a real reason why they're asking this question. And this is the reason why I'm doing this short video. You see, guys, for the last 5 to 6 months, we have done maybe collectively as a whole group over 1,000 consults, all right, over, for clients across the globe. All right. And the number one question that everybody asks us is, Kenneth, I'm not sure what's going on. All right. Because there's so many things going on. Right. For example, if you're an employee, there's so many changes. There's a bit of retrenchments going on. There's constant restructuring, right? There's redeployment. There's constant policy changes. There's constant, right, defensive, aggressive strategies being implemented and changing the following week, right? If you're a business owner, right, the landscape is changing. Sales are down, right? People are closing down, your old friends are closing down, right? Your new customers, you do not know how to deal with them, right? So many things are going on in the economic landscape. Okay. And the complication gets amplified by the geopolitical tensions plus the trade wars and all that stuff, right? So I can't touch on too much political or sensitive issues because YouTube has restricted some of my videos when I touch on these issues. All right. So I'm just going to explain to you what's going on, just in case some of you are in this predicament right now. So this slide, some of you might find this very familiar. Those of you who attended the Feng Shui and Astrology Seminar 2025, whether in Singapore or in Malaysia or online, this slide was most likely being presented to you by Datuk Joey Yap. Now, he did mention that last year in 2024, that was the official beginning of Period 9. Now, those of you who are still not familiar with Period 9, it is basically a start of a new 20 years trend and is represented by the element of fire. We are in 2025 and all of us only have one job in 2025. And this, I'm talking about every single one globally. And that is called setting the new stage. A lot of things that are happening right now is the way of the universe helping us pivot to a better position or a new stage to prepare for the next two coming years, okay, 2026 and 2027. Because according to Datuk Joey Yap, stormy seas are on the horizon, okay? In 2026 and 2027, this is what he calls the Crimson Horse and the Blood Goat calamity years. In the Chinese Bazi pillars, it is represented by the fire horse and the fire goat years, okay? These 2 years represent fire. So what do we have to do in 2025 to set the new stage? If you look carefully, in 2025, it is the wood snake year, which also has a very strong fire element. Guys, those of you who are not too familiar with Bazi and astrology, not to worry, just listen to me first. This year is the year of the snake. The next year is the year of the horse, and the following year is the year of the goat. Now, these three animal signs, the snake, horse, and goat, represents the season of summer, which means that the fire is very prominent and very strong. Okay, and since we are in the period of Period 9 fire period, right? Fire represents times of transformation. And guys, wouldn't you agree with me that most transformations tend to get a little messy during the transformative period? And we are going through 3 years of transformation. This is what I would like to call the first wave of Period 9 transformation. So expect things to get a bit messy. I know some of you are already feeling it. You guys can see it for yourself, right? The entire global landscape is getting a bit messy. Now, why am I doing this video now? Now, just to visually give you a better idea, just look at this picture. Okay, 2025 is your year of setting a new stage for yourself. So just try to visually imagine yourself moving from an old boat and you're trying to make your way to the new ship. The reason why you're moving towards the new ship is because in 2026 and 2027, on the horizon, the storm is coming. And the old boat that you used to be in will not survive the storm. That is the reason why in 2025, so many of you, in fact, every single one of us, whether we like it or not, or whether we recognize it or not, a lot of external or environmental situations will force us to change certain trajectories or pivot our certain directions in our careers and in our money making activities. And why am I making this video right now? I think that's the main point of this video, right? Because at the making of this video, we are currently in the month of May 2025, based on the Gregorian calendar. Okay. Can you see that May is also the month of the snake? In June, the next month is the month of the horse. And the following month is the month of the goat. Guys, remember what I said about the three animal signs, the snake, the horse, and the goat? These three animal signs represent the season of summer, which is fire, which means in the month of May, June, and July in 2025, this is where the transformation accelerates. Okay, this is when the momentum is going to pick up. So a lot of you right now, okay, those of you who have the affinity to watch this video, all right, a lot of you, I would say more than 90% of you guys, all right, who are still working, who are still contributing to society, a lot of changes are happening to the point where you are no longer clear on where this is going. I know this is a video, but comment in the just type in the comments in the YouTube channel and say if this is happening. Type a yes if this is happening to you. That means there's so many things going on. Your bosses are saying this today, next week they're saying something else. There's a bit of retrenchment going on. There's a bit of hiring in a new department, right? There's redeployment, new reporting lines, right? If you are running a business, right, everything is going crazy, right? You're finding it very hard to do business, right? New areas, you might want to explore new areas of revenue, but you're not sure, right? So many things, basically messiness has accelerated in the entire landscape. Of course, there will be a handful of you guys where relationship might be your concern. But of course, in this video, I'm just focusing on the economic or the financial status. Okay, because this basically indicates the livelihood and the quality of life for 2025 for you guys. Okay, so if you guys are familiar with this chart from FSA when Dato Joey presented, he has always said this. 2025, if you get your footing right and you make the right decisions, you are going to be on an upward elevation towards 2028. However, those of you who unfortunately might make the wrong choices, for example, you might push away noblemen or opportunities in disguised as higher commitment, tougher work times and all that stuff, right? Then you might make the wrong decisions and you might go downwards, on an downward trajectory first, okay, on a downward sloping in 2026 and 2027 before you play catch up towards 2028. Okay, so that is why 2025 is such a pinnacle year. 2025 is a pinnacle year starting from May 2025 as the pinnacle month. This is when everything starts. Okay, just a recap. This is the Bazi chart of 2025. This is the annual chart. In FSA, Dato Joey did mention that fire is strong. Of course, the strongest element is wood, but we're looking at fire because remember, fire is the transformative energy, right? So fire is strong, is second strongest in the chart, but the weakest element is metal. Okay, guys? So fire is transformation. Metal, historically, it represents finance. Okay, it represents finance. So as a start, the financial strength of 2025 is already weak to start off. Okay, so when we enter the month of May, June, and July, when fire is prosperous, okay, it's at its strongest, that is when that little bit of metal, okay, will get melted, destroyed, transformed. Okay, so this is where the messiness comes in. So since fire is transformation and metal is finance, what do you think is going to happen, guys? What do you think you can expect in these 3 months? Okay, Number one, a lot of financial volatility. That is a guarantee. Okay. Financial volatility, right? Finance could mean salaries, rice bowl, stuff like that. So you get the drift, yeah? So this is when you're going to have a lot of job movements, retrenchments, job changes. Even if you don't lose your job, there might be some redeployment, repositioning of your jobs. Okay, so there will be a lot of energy changes affecting livelihoods. That's exactly what I'm saying. In terms of investments, there'll be a lot of volatility. If you can make money from volatility, this is your time. But the majority of us, this is going to affect us, okay, in terms of our investments. So if we look at the month of May and we do the traditional analysis, in the year pillar, we are going to have a relationship called the Grand Duke. Okay, Grand Duke means a neutral change. And inside the Grand Duke, the direct wealth, which normally talks about cash flow, talks about liquidity, talks about jobs, talks about sales, all right, is affected. Then in the month pillar, we have the harm, which represents a series of events that will trigger feelings of uncertainty, a lot of fear, panic, all right? And it has a side effect of ungrateful punishment. Now, ungrateful punishment normally means some form of self-inflicted pain. Okay, self-inflicted pain is a bit of a cause and effect kind of situation. All right. It also represents new working arrangements, which means new things will come to you that you have no experience in. But I guess based on circumstances, you have no choice but to say yes. Okay, to do the new thing, right? But because you don't have any experience, right? You're not sure whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to fail. You're not sure what's the best foot forward, right? So it's a journey of discovery. It's a journey of trial and error. So whatever that comes to you, just say yes and just embrace it. Remember, don't overthink it, because the more you get yourself involved in this new activity, the clearer you will be in terms of what you have to do. So the initial uncertainty is only at the beginning stage. As long as you pick up in momentum, you're going to be fine. And of course, we have the clash between the pig and the snake in the hour pillar. Okay, what does this mean? The pig and the snake basically means a very tedious process. So guys, based on this information alone, without having too much in-depth information, right? This gives you a rough picture of what to expect in the month of May. So you know, number one, liquidity, cash flow, jobs, sales, whatever that's relevant to you will be affected. Okay, most likely it will go down because a lot of new things will come your way. The situation, there might be some government policy changes, there might be some economic changes, right? That will produce some form of uncertainty. All right, and there will be some new working arrangements. Now, guys, remember I said to you about the ungrateful punishment, which is self-inflicted pain. Now, all of you who are watching this video right now will be divided into two camps. One of you will just bite the bullet, embrace whatever that comes, and just go through it. Okay? There will be another group of people who would be like, nah, I don't think I am ready to take on something like this. I'm going to reject it. Guys, remember, it's self-inflicted pain. So those of you who have a tendency, or you might feel like you have high resistance in accepting new things, this might be the month that is a trap for you. Okay, so think twice before you reject anything new. That's my advice to you guys. And if we pay more attention to the clash between the pig and the snake, we can see that there is an interaction between two energies. One is the raw wealth. The other one is the direct wealth. Okay. If you're not technical, don't worry about it. Just listen to my conclusion. When raw wealth meets direct wealth, means there's robbery happening. Because the robbery star, the raw wealth, is robbing the direct wealth. So traditional reading talks about financial losses. So this talks about financial losses. So for example, stock market going down. For example, devaluation of currencies, depreciation of assets, reduced trade, which we have already witnessed. So pay attention. So these are basically indications of what to expect in May. This is like the bigger picture. Now, this information is very important for investors as well as entrepreneurs. Okay, this is as equally important to employees, just that employees are less flexible, right, to buffer, unless you have more than one job. So if you are really, really worried, and let's just say if you are an employee and the situation is not really pushing you out of a job just yet, it might be a good time to start thinking about plan B. That means try to establish a secondary revenue channel as a bit of a safeguard. All right, because the last thing we want happening to you is for you to be forced into a corner and you have nothing prepared and you're running out of time. Okay, and of course, let's be candid about it, right? When liquidity is affected, when raw wealth meets direct wealth represents jobs, salary, cash flow. So there will be job losses. Yes, some of you here says, well, Kenneth, it has already happened. This is when it accelerates. Okay, guys? And of course, those of you who are looking for sales, okay, sales would not be that promising. Okay, those of you who are looking for liquidity in the market, whether it's stock market, right, it will be a bit dry. So those of you who are doing trading, prepare for the necessary strategies. If you guys enjoy what I've shared so far, right, please join my Telegram group. Now, this is not just about you guys joining my Telegram group. Because of my past experience with YouTube, right, for the last 18 months, I have had some videos either highly restricted, partially restricted, because I was just giving my opinion and YouTube flagged it as either discussing political issues or touching on sensitive topics or basically fear mongering. Okay, they would not be that exact to tell you exactly why I'm being restricted. So if you can join my Telegram group, subsequently after this video in a few days, I'll start posting certain posts as reminders in the beginning of the year, especially in my special program called FSA Next, where I've given a lot of warning signs, especially the timeline. Now, this is not fear mongering, but in the month of May, a lot of you guys here, you guys will know it, all right? A lot of you guys here will be traveling, whether it's for leisure, whether it's for work, you guys will be moving about, okay? You guys will be traveling on planes, on cruises, on trains. This is where it gets a little bit sensitive in terms of the traveling energies, okay? I'll post more information about this in my Telegram group. So now, if we go one layer deeper to get more information about what's going on in the month of May, we see that we have the Grand Duke, instability, and earth-killing energy. What does this mean? This means economic and environmental changes that causes feelings of uncertainty and being lost. This is very similar to the harm that we are reading. It also has crossing Shah, Coat Tang, robbery Shah, goat blade, wear morning. Okay, this means disagreements, arguments, triggering more tit for tat tactics between people, between companies, between governments. Okay, leading towards, or I would say, affecting existing relationships further, leading to a more undesirable situation. And of course, we have the year breaker, greater consumer, obstacle, and peeling head. What does this mean? Okay, this means an intense situation forcing extensive intervention, which requires a lot, okay, a greater amount of resources, time, money, effort being expended. This is happening on all levels. That means from government to companies to individual financial planning. All right, guys? So now you know what to expect in May. However, all is not lost. Now, everything in life is yin and yang. Okay, so if there's one side is all bad, there has to be light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, and this is only the first fire month of the year. We still have 2 more months to go. So you have the relief God and heavenly relief. So all is not lost because these are the 2 great problem-solving stars, right? So it could also mean the series of events or what we call the uncomfortable or bad events will trigger a search for new solutions and directions. And we have fortune virtue, prosperity star, and heavenly virtue. These energies normally indicate a very lucky scenario, which means no matter how uncomfortable the situation might feel on the surface. All right. But it is a blessing in disguise with new opportunities waiting to be discovered. And you have national treasure, sky horse, and month emptiness. So you will have new authorities, okay, emerging from other markets, for example, as solutions to the existing situation. So these are things that I want you guys to pay attention to, because once you guys recognize the real figures appearing, roughly you have a clearer idea on what's the new direction, or what's the new flow of money, or where's the new flow of opportunities. Now let's go a bit deeper. Okay. The hour pillar can represent the general population like you and me. All right, like you and me. And why are we looking at the hour pillar? Because this is where the clash happens. Now, in parts of studies where we look at the clashes, it normally means the biggest impactful change, which is uncomfortable. So if the clash is in the hour pillar, it means that the biggest impact will impact the average Joe on the street. That means you and me, the average person. Okay. So in summary, it means every one of us will go through changes in our lives, especially in our careers and in our business. Okay. Now, this is not a bad thing, no matter how uncomfortable you feel, guys. Hear me out. Let me repeat myself, right? The process can be uncomfortable because it's a transformation. So things get messy, things get uncertain, things get unfamiliar. That's why we are feeling fearful. But recognize this as our own, our personal period 9 transformation. Remember, moving from the old boat to the new ship. If you don't move, your old boat is not going to withstand the storm that is coming. Most of the time, we are talking about career and business. There's a handful of you guys where your relationships at home with your spouse, right, is going through a bit of a friction. Family, there might be disagreements going on. Social circle might change. All right. Those of you who are a bit more, silo lifestyle, living alone, all right, unmarried, right, no partners, for example, right, you might go through a bit of a revival of a self purpose, a realization. Some of you, a small handful of you guys, are going through this right now. If we look at the karmic lesson, I hardly talk about this, but if we look at the karmic lesson, okay, in the month of May in 2025, it is the karmic lesson of reap and sow. That means it's a cause and effect. Whatever you have done in the past, now is coming back to you. So if you did good results will come to you. If you do stupid things, here comes the undesirable outcomes that you have to remedy. So a lot of things, if we want good things to happen to us, look at what we did in the past, guys. Okay, especially beginning of the year or end of last year. Okay, if we keep rejecting opportunities, what do you think is going to happen? If we slack off and we do not put in our hours and our commitment, what do you think is going to happen to our careers? If we don't take certain risk and try to open up new markets, what's going to happen to our own business? If your revenue has been sliding downwards and you're still holding on and hoping for the best, what do you think is going to happen? So this is what we call the karmic lesson. Now, since all of us are going to go through our own personal period 9 transformation starting from the month of May, if you have any of these 6 animal signs in your parts chart, okay, I'm only talking about in your natal chart. I'm not talking about your luck pillars. I'm not. Okay, I'm just talking about your natal chart. That means in the year, month, day, and hour pillars. Now, if any of you have any of these animal signs anywhere in your 4 pillars, this is the area, this is the month that things will happen to you, for you, regardless whether you like it or not. My advice to you is whatever happens to you, especially when it's unfamiliar, especially when it's a bit fearful because it's uncertain, is totally new to you. Just embrace it and go with the flow, especially when you have all these 6 animal signs. Now, to be more specific, if you have the snake in your parts chart, it means you have to step up and do more work. Now, again, this is higher commitment. All right. This is a more exhausting path. All right, this might even be feelings of being shortchanged because you might do more, but your remuneration remains the same. Bite the bullet now. Invest in the current for future benefits. Remember this. If you have to pick, yes, the month of May is going to piss you off. I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff, all right? It's going to piss you off, but you are going to go through this because you're pursuing new wealth, new opportunities, new elevation in your career and your business. If you have the tiger, brand new experience, very unsettling, even a change of working associates. If you have the monkey, right, very opportunistic, new networks available, but the journey might not be that pleasant. Okay, guys. So if you have the monkey and your current situation seems to be very uncomfortable, seems to be very toxic even, you feel that, the entire work environment is pushing you out because it is. The reason why you're going through so much discomfort is because the universe is trying to tell you, get moving, all right? If you don't change, the pain will intensify. Those of you with the ox, you have to collaborate more. Okay, you have to collaborate more. You will multitask. You will be very busy trying to juggle stuff, deal with different entities, interdepartments, different groups of people. For example, it's like a one-to-many model. So it will be very exhausting, and your attention is constantly being pulled left and right. Okay, it's like a tug of war. Everybody wants your attention because everybody wants your contribution. Okay, balance that. All right, yes, exhausting, definitely. Fruitful, yes, as well. Rooster, same as the ox. The only difference is for the people with the rooster, apart from collaboration, juggling with 2 to 3 projects, KPIs at the same time, or different groups of people, the rooster has an additional power of private connections, meaning a bit of string pulling. Maybe your opportunities might appear in terms of internal transfer between the organization, going to another department, moving teams. If you're an agent, just say you're like a property agent or an insurance agent, you might move teams, right? Just move if the opportunity arises, because here comes your energy. So those of you with these 6 animal signs, right? This is how your personal transformation starts. It's not just 1 month. Okay, this is the start of a series of events for 2025 to kickstart your personal transformation in the first wave of period 9 transformation. I hope that this short sharing that I'm giving to you guys provides a bit of clarity to those of you who are in a very fearful state, because in the last 2 months, in fact, most of my clients come to me with a bit of a fearful a state of mind. They come to me with a lot of self-doubt. They come to me with a lot of uncertainty, and they're hoping that I could look into my crystal ball, which I don't, all right, and tell them everything is going to be okay. Because you can see the fear in their eyes, because the company is going through so much different levels of transformation, restructuring, reorganization, redeployment. Everything is moving, okay, and they have no idea where they're going. That is the true fear. So those of you who are in this position, I hope that this video gives you some clarity. Just understand that whatever changes that come to you, especially when you have these 6 animal signs, most of the time, meaning 99.99% of the time, it will eventually lead you to a better place. Remember, you're trying to find your way to the new ship. Again, guys, if you guys are interested in more information, only join if you're okay with the truth. Whatever I'm sharing is to help you guys prepare, is not to instill fear. If you are easily fearful and it affects your life, you can't sleep at night, please don't join. Okay, those of you, especially those of you who are traveling a lot in 2025, please join my Telegram group. I'll give you certain timelines to pay attention to, and maybe even if there's demand, I might even teach you guys how to select certain dates for you guys to plan your traveling activities. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. My name is Kenneth Wong, and I'll see you guys in my Telegram channel. Take care, guys.